Good morning and happy Tuesday from the law office of Lintera Harvin. I am Lintera Harvin, and I'm so very excited to be starting a new web series titled Coffee and Contracts. And Coffee and Contracts was simply birthed out of two things that I really love. One being coffee. Make sure you grab your cup or your favorite beverage, and contracts. I get so many questions about the do's and kind of the don'ts. What should I have? What shouldn't I have? This person said this and we agreed to this, but it wasn't in writing. Or my friend and I went in business and it's someone I really trust, and so I didn't think I needed this. And the list just kind of goes on and on and on and on. So I want to clear up some misconceptions and myths regarding contracts, educate you on some of the laws regarding contracts and the kind of the do's and the don'ts, the nuances, the language that no one ever understands. Okay, we're going to break that legal jargon down so that you understand what's in your contracts. And I also just want to help business owners, particularly those in a service industry, to build better relationships. I truly believe that contracts are the foundation to a great business, a successful business, and your relationships. It's a great way to build trust, predictability, reliability, and iron out communication and prevent disputes. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started with today's series. And what I'm going to do is recap a webinar that I conducted a few weeks ago titled Don't Get Caught Slippin'. If you would like to receive access to the replay of that one, simply send me an email and I will send you the replay. My email address is law@linteraharvin.com. And you can find our Coffee and Contract series every Tuesday on our Facebook page, LinkedIn page, or on our website. So let's go ahead and dive in. Don't get caught slipping. 5 contracts that every business owner should have. Non-negotiable, okay? You need these things in place or you might get caught slipping. Number 1, operating agreement. Even if it's just you, I get it because it's just me, but you need to have this in place. One, even if it's just yourself, to legitimize yourself as a business owner. But the operating agreement is your blueprint. Like, you wouldn't build a house, you wouldn't start anything else without having a plan and having something on paper, right? Same thing for your business, okay? What type of entity is your business? How does your business operate? How does it function? How do you pay yourself? How often do you pay yourself? When you pass away, will your business be passed on to another family member, a friend, or will it dissolve? Where do the funds go? There are so many things that need to be considered and that need to be put into an operating agreement for you and your business. And that way, when you are at the point where you're ready to grow your business, you already have this in place. So when you're having those conversations, whether it be with investors or another team member, potential team member, they know that you mean business and that you have a plan, okay? It just super legitimizes you as a business owner. And especially if it's more than one person, oh, you definitely want to have this in place to prevent disputes between partners. I don't care how close you are or how trustworthy you feel that they are. I'm telling you that things go left. So people laugh at me, but I tell them, get as petty as possible. Anything that you think that could come up, okay, put it in the operating agreement. Just put it in there so that we don't have issues down the line. Trust me, you'll be glad that you did. But moving on, number 2. Service agreements. Now, service agreements will vary depending on your industry and the size of your business, but the gist of a service agreement is to memorialize in writing the expectations between you and your clients, okay? How often are they paying you? What method of payments are they using? Are you sending an itemized invoice? Do you collect payments over the phone, on the web? What does communication look like between you and your client? How frequently? What means of communication? What's the timeline of the delivery of services? Be very clear on that. What are you guaranteeing with your service? What are you not guaranteeing with your service? And so forth and so on. And I will go more in depth, just FYI, on each of these agreements individually, so that if you have questions for them, please make sure that you send them. So that's number 2. That's the service agreement, and that is between you and your clients. 3, independent contractor agreements or employee agreements. Now, most of you may not have employees depending on how long you've been in business, but you may bring on someone on a project to project basis to handle some things for you. I know that I have, in terms of marketing services or advertising, things of that nature, maybe content creation, what have you. You want to make sure, again, that you have an agreement between you and whoever that person may be, so that everyone is clear on what is the expectation, what service is being provided, how are people getting paid, to make sure that there are no misconceptions, that they are an employee when in fact they're an independent contractor, and vice versa. The more control you have over an independent contractor and how they do their job, they are an employee. And I will have a 3-part series on that, because the IRS has been cracking down big time on the misclassification of independent contractors and employees. So we'll talk later about that. But moving on, number 4, non-disclosure and confidentiality agreements. If you don't want someone taking an idea or a process or a deliverable you have created, whatever it may be, if you don't want someone stealing it, which they will try to capitalize off of your hard work, you need to protect it through a non-disclosure or confidentiality agreement. And it can be something as simple as a process that you have. You have a unique intake process. You have a unique onboarding process. You have a unique interviewing process. Whatever it may be, if it's not readily available to the public and you want to protect it, you need to have that agreement in place. And I'm pretty sure everyone has something that is unique to their business that the public does not know and needs protected. So you need this in place. And last but not least are your website terms and conditions and privacy policy. If you are collecting information from people who visit your website, even if it's just an email address, so that they can receive your newsletter, you need to have some sort of privacy policy stating what information that you're collecting and how you're protecting their information. And the terms and the conditions states what they can expect from your website and what is allowed and what's not allowed with them using your website. So first and foremost, you want to make sure that you have some sort of disclaimer in your terms and conditions. Okay, you are not responsible if someone, read something on your websites and take it upon themselves to go do something and, something bad happens or what have you. Make sure you have a disclaimer stating that it's for educational purposes, and yada, 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 yada. Also, maybe you have a blog on your website. People can leave comments. Okay, make sure they can't just post anything. No profanity or discriminatory or defamatory language, things of that nature. You just want to be very clear on what's allowed on your website. So those are the 5 non-negotiables that every business owner needs to have. Operating agreement, service agreements between you and your clients, independent contractor agreements or employee agreements, non-disclosure or confidentiality agreements, and your website terms and conditions and privacy policy. Again, we'll go more in depth as we move forward with our copy and contract series. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in one of our future webinars. Stay tuned for the dates for those. And I will see you all next week. Have an awesome Tuesday.